said is that the world is made of gravitational magnetic fields, and a whole universe is built on the interaction of the field. So what does this mean? Fields, as you can see here, are in motion in the universe, in everywhere dimension. And then as they come in touch with each other, they make a ball, which part of the field goes in and part of the field which is not in interaction of repelling comes out. So if you look at this, it's like two bunch of magnets coming to magnetic fields coming together, and their interaction creates gravity, or which is attraction. That's what gravity means. Adults like to make it very complicated, and we tend to make different names for the same thing to show the level of how intelligent we are. So if anybody tells you about gravity, gravity means in English gravitating. It means coming together. It means joining up. Magnetic field repulsion, it means when you go away from each other. So when you have two bunches of magnetic fields coming and going, some of them come together and some of them go away from each other. And this is how a plasma is created. The total of fields come together, which pull together, it's just like putting you and your hold hand together, is called gravity, and you pull each other together. And then bunch are there who pull away from you, they're trying to pull outwards. We call this magnetic field or magnetical field, which is the repulsion. So if you look at it, this is exactly the structure of the magnetic field, but in 3 dimension. What this 3 dimension means is these fields, some are coming in and some are going out. And if you put them together, they become like this, they rotate. And then that's how literally a plasma is made. The more and more of these you put together, then the more you get the interaction of the fields to be. So you find out the fields, all of them come together, some inwards and some outwards. The ones which go in and the totality makes a sphere, a 3-dimensional sphere. So in reality, if you look, this is a very much the reality about the plasma, but as a ball. You see it in every direction, fields flow. So this, when it's very tight together and all of them come together, the ones who hold and pull together, they call gravity. The ones which in your team pull you back and out, they become magnetical field. And the totality of the balance, it comes to a point that if you pull too much together, you can bring the ones who are pulling out in, and then the whole system breaks. And if the ones which are pulling the circle out are stronger than anyone inside pulling together, the whole circle breaks. So when there is a balance and all the fields going in and pulling in and going out and pushing out, when they are in balance, it becomes like a ball. So this is what we call a plasma. In the universe, this is the shape of a plasma. In the universe, this is how it is. But in fact, if you look at it, a plasma is transparent, very much like this. This is the shape of a real plasma. Very transparent, very can see. But if you open a plasma like this, and you put all these fields inside it, they very much look like having a center, like this, and then a gap between the center and outside. So the center becomes the center of the plasma, and from the center to where you can feel it is the time when the plasma travels from the center to the side, and where I touch is called the matter. The center one, the center ball, we call the principle because it's the mother, it's the creator, it's where everything comes out of. So the time from the center to the out is the transition, it's the travel time. It takes to go from A to B. It's like it takes to go from home to school, as we said before. And then when it becomes, when you arrive to a school, that's where you want to be, it's where the outside is. So if you go back and take the center out and put those fields which we created to fit into the ball, In a way, what you see is very simple. This is the shape of a plasma. A center field in the middle, as tight as we can make it, because that's the mother, it comes out. Maybe we can put two of them to show that because it's two sets, this is the gravity, and what we can do is to make it the same way, but in a different direction. So now we have fields going in and out, and then we close this container. So what we see in the center, in fact, is that's what is we have right in front of you. This is what we call a plasma. The center was where the tight ones are, and then as the field comes out, at a boundary from the center to travel to the edge, to the container, it becomes, they're in travel, and then it becomes a solid matter, where you can feel it. But this solid matter is still a magnetic field plasma. But this is where we can feel it, this is where we can see it. So this is in fact a plasma. That's how simple a plasma is. Magnetic fields which they open up, and the center where you see very tight up, we call the principle, where the mother is. In your world, you call it the mother, which is the creator, source. And then, as it opens up from the mother, as you can see, in the field, and if you open it, you see in the fields, this is the mother, we call it the principle, and these are the rays. And then, when these rays come to a point of strength, is what we see as matter. So this is a plasma. You can create any plasma you like. So now you understand the principle of the creation. The principle of creation is when many of these plasmas of different sizes, because some are small like this, some is bigger plasma, but the same structure. We call this smaller one, for example, electron, and a bigger one a proton. And when an electron and proton come together, we make one atom. And this is what your body is made of. Millions and millions of things like this. But the difference is that this one rotates, goes very fast around the bigger one. And now this electron, because it's a smaller, has to follow the mama. It's like you and the mama. This is the mama, and this is you. You always have to have a hand to mama to know where you are. So you go everywhere, but still mama lets you play free, but still holds hand. And this is what it is. And then when you put hundreds and thousands and millions of these together, you make a matter. The matter, what we see. It could be your chair, it could be your pen, it could be the food you put in your mouth, and depends how many of these come together to make that matter. This is a simple way of defining and understanding the structure of a plasma. But the thing is, when many of these plasmas come together, it looks very much like your toy. If you're a boy, you always played with these. We call these a connect. But in fact, they are the real, true structure, what you can see a plasma about. You see the little balls? I try to go further, you can see it. And then the little balls connect with another balls. And at the time, at a position when the ball is there, you find a connection to another ball. This is like an atom of water, what we call the hydrogen, and an oxygen, one oxygen and two hydrogens. And then what do we get? We get a water. And then when millions and millions of these, you see the little circles, join up with the other things, this is what we call molecules, and millions of molecules make the human body. So now you see how you're made of, in a very simple way, a human body, but made of millions of atoms, which are made of plasmas, which make the human body. But the number of atoms and the number of electrons and protons, if you remember, which make plus each other into a molecule, decides what matter is going to be. If you have one small one and one big one, what we call a proton electron, this is hydrogen. This is the first element we know.